What is the one thing that if you did, if it's all you focused on for the next 90 days, would have the most biggest positive impact going in to 2024? Those are the types of questions that world-class CISOs ask themselves.
Welcome to Life of a CISO. I'm Dr. Eric Cole, your host, and we'll be taking you on a journey each week on what it takes to be a CISO and what are solutions that you can implement today if you are currently a Chief Information Security Officer or if you want to be one in the future. This is Life of a CISO.
Welcome, 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 welcome. I hope you know what time it is. It's time for Life of a CISO with yours truly, Dr. E is in the house. I hope you are doing awesome. I hope you are crushing it. And remember, we're in the fourth quarter, right? This is when the magic happens. I don't know if you're a sports fan, right? But we're sort of in football season and fourth quarters works well with the fourth quarters of the year, but it doesn't matter what happened in the first three, right? Most games are decided in the fourth quarter. Now, if you're a Giants fan like me, that might not be true. I think they lost like 46-0 or something ridiculous. But yeah, they're just having a not so good season. They're not in their happy place right now. But in most cases, it doesn't matter a whole lot what happened in the first three quarters. The game is decided. Who wins and who loses is decided in that final quarter. So this is your moment to rise, right? So no matter how good or how bad a year you're having, it's time to reset. Let it go, get clear, get focused, and say, what is the one thing that's most important that if you accomplish this year could change everything? What is the one thing that if you did, if it's all you focused on for the next 90 days, would have the most biggest positive impact going in to 2024? Those are the types of questions that world-class CISOs ask themselves. They're always asking themselves a very pointed, detailed question. Here's one of my other favorite questions, and this one's a little bizarre, but it's a powerful one too. What is the one thing that I'm doing that is royally screwing up my life or causing me to not be where I want to be? Right? The question is basically focused on what is the current roadblock that I've created that's holding me back, right? What is the one thing or habit that I've got used to doing, and it is one of the biggest negative things that I'm doing? And most people, I'll be honest with you, most people, it's somewhere around TV, and they don't even realize it. Like I was working with one sister who was like, Eric, I need to work on these skills and that skills, and I just don't have any time. And I started quizzing them. I went in and sort of started just texting him, what are you doing now? What are you doing at different times? Having him track his time, track his hours, track what he's doing. And the crazy thing is, I'm like, dude, you really don't see it? And he's like, no. And he would binge watch, nothing wrong. I'm not against Netflix in any way, shape, or form. I don't want people to think I'm anti-Netflix. It is what it is. The point is he was spending 3 hours a night binge watching. Now, if that's helping him and it's an outlet and he needs a little chill time, that's okay. But if you do the math on that and you add in weekends and football and sports and all that stuff, it was 22 hours a week that he was spending in front of the TV, technically adding minimal to no value to his life other than a distraction to be able to pass time. And what cracked me up is he didn't see it. When he said, I have no time, he really didn't incorporate that math into the equation. And I'm like, dude, you got a half a week. You got 22 hours that you could be doing things with, that you could be working on. Now, yes, we are not robots. I know people always go in and go, oh, you need time to chill out and stuff. Yes, but make it productive. Go for a walk. Talk with your family members. Listen to some motivational stuff. And like I said, some people argue with me, but here's the thing. Most people that argue and debate the legitimacy of 3 hours of TV a night, come in. They're not world class, right? They're average, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we're not here about average. We're here about cranking it up to the next level. So I really want you to take a close look at how you're spending your time. One of the most powerful exercises that a coach, I'm always bringing in coaches because you always want to optimize and get to that next level. And one of the exercises one of my coaches did, and I still do this once a quarter, I'm actually doing it right now, and it's actually quite revealing, is for 3 days, and usually it'll be the first, second, and third of each quarter, I just record everything I do in 15-minute intervals. So it's literally woke up 4:55, got ready, brushed teeth, shaved till 5:20, took supplements, blah, 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 5:30, meditation for 30 minutes, drove to the gym, worked out in the gym. And at first it's annoying, but what you start realizing is the most powerful tool available to you to be a world-class CISO is awareness and visibility. Like I said, there's so many subconscious habits and beliefs and other things that we have. We're not even aware of it. We don't even realize what we're doing. So this is all about waking up, right? And seeing and recognizing and realizing, where can I optimize? Where can I do better? Where am I wasting significant amount of time that I shouldn't? And one of the other ones that comes up for a lot of people when they do that 15-minute tracking is like, Eric, I didn't realize how much of a distraction social media is. Once again, we've all been trained, right? Where we just sit there and we automatically check social and it's addicted. It's a drug. It's an electronic drug that is highly addictive. And we're going through and just checking. And as one person said, I would have told you maybe 10 minutes. It was 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 5. And it added up to about 2.5 hours a day that I was being distracted by social media. So once again, visibility and awareness is key. That's critical to you growing. The more that you know and understand what you're doing, what's working, what's not, and what's benefiting you, that's when everything starts to change. So what I want to really go over, and I sort of set up the pre-frame for it, is let's step back and look at a CISO from a 360 standpoint, just from a big picture perspective. Look at the totality of what is required, what it takes, and what is needed to be a world-class CISO. And once again, we talked about part of it, which is awareness and focus and understanding on what you're doing. But let me ask you a simple question. What is the most critical thing? What is the most critical thing that you should do if you want to be a world-class CISO? And I love asking this question because it's sort of a trick question, but it's not really. But everybody, almost everybody gets it wrong. When I ask that question, I'm like, what is the most important thing? The most critical thing for being a world-class CISO? And everyone always goes, communication, understanding risk, understanding security, be able to speak business. And I'm like, way too micro. Way too micro you're asking it. Let me ask you a question. If you're not alive, or you're in the hospital in the intensive care unit, can you be a world-class CISO? No, you can't, right? You're not able to operate or function. So the thing that everybody misses, and when you step back, big picture, really macro, the most important thing for being a world-class CISO is your health. Think about that. If you are healthy and you are optimized and you are sleeping well and you are well rested and you are in great shape and your cognitive ability is off the charts because you have blood flow and your health and you're in great shape, you're going to operate at a different level than somebody who is tired, exhausted, brain fog, getting sick every couple of months, not able to operate, right? Having downtime, all those other factors. So it's something that we don't really pay attention to and we take for granted. But the reality, my friends, is if you want to be world-class in anything, if you want to be a world-class CISO, if you want to operate at the level that you need to operate at, you need to have optimal health. You have to get your health dialed in. You have to exercise. You have to eat healthy. You have to be in great shape, right? People always go in and ask me, how in the world do you keep up with your schedule? If you look at my schedule for the last month, I just look back and I'm like, how did I pull that off? I testified in 2 trials. I had 5 depositions with prep sessions. I had to do multiple code reviews. I had to do 3 keynote presentations. And when you look at this stuff, it's all high stake. Testifying at trial takes a lot of energy, right? Because you have the direct across the reader. I mean, there's a lot of, you are talking about the ultimate chess match. And then depos, to me, are even worse because for 7 hours you are drilled by opposing counsel with the sole goal of them trying to find you to make a mistake or say something you shouldn't say. So, talk about game on. You can't have a bad moment in a depo. So you look at all of that, and it required a lot of energy, focus, brain power. But the reality is, because I'm in such good shape and have good cognitive ability, I was able to pull those things off. You're able to pull off miracles when you have trained and taken care of your body, that when you need to push it a little bit, you need to sort of press that accelerator and say, hey, these next couple of weeks, we're going to be permanent hot. I know we don't like doing 5 hours sleep. That's not normal. I know we don't normally like working 7 days a week, 15-hour days. But listen, for the next couple of weeks, we're going to have to burn hot for a little bit. And if you are in optimal shape, you can pull it off. The reason why most people crash, burn out, or end up getting really, really sick is because they haven't trained their body. They're not in an optimal shape. So when they go in and say, okay, we got to hit it a little hard, we're a little behind, we got to press that accelerator, it breaks. It can't handle that extra stress and extra ability. So let's just go ahead and get real clear. And the way I do this, it's real simple. You ask 4 simple questions. What am I doing that I need to continue doing? What am I doing that I need to stop doing? What am I doing that I need to start doing? And what am I guess it's really 3. So what do I need to do more of? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to start doing? Are really the key things. It's pretty simple when you break it down. And to me, body is easy. Exercise. Do some, you don't have to want to put on muscle mass or be huge, but the point is you need to let your muscles move. That's blood flow. That's where you go in and get energy, flexibility. You want to do some cardio. And then it's all about eating healthy. You don't have to be on any of these strict diets. I'm not a fan of these strict diets for one simple reason. they're short-term. They're short-term benefit. They're not sustainable. You know what's sustainable? Just eat healthy. You know how you eat healthy? Easy. One ingredient food. What if all you did was eat food that had one ingredient in it? And you might look at me a little weird, like what do you mean? Well, go and look at an orange. What's the ingredients? An orange. One ingredient, that's it. If you go in and look at a piece of chicken, what's in chicken? Chicken. Now, if you go in and get a piece of chicken and you look at the ingredients and there's 12 items because they put all these chemicals and artificial and other things in it, once again, not natural. So essentially, one ingredient. You're eating fruits, you're eating vegetables, right? You're eating meats, and you're eating your basic proteins. Now, once in a while, if you want to splurge, that's fine. But if you go in and look at the ingredients for most of the items you're eating, there's a lot of weird stuff on there, right? The other one, if you want to not be as extreme as one ingredient, the other one I use is only eat things where you can pronounce and understand the ingredients, right? If you go in and you're reading the ingredients, you're like, what the heck is glutamaya hoka macachaco, right? You're like, it's got to be artificial, right? So it's all about awareness. It's all about awareness and focus on what you want to accomplish. So what is the one thing in your body that if you were able to accomplish over the next 90 days would change everything? Is it hitting the gym? Is it exercising? Is it losing weight? The trick here is you want it to be habit-based. You want it to be something that is actionable as a habit that you can then go and be able to execute on. So for example, losing weight is not actionable. What the heck action do you take to lose weight? Well, I go in and I need to drink more water. Great. Drink 100 ounces of water a day. That's actionable, right? 100 ounces of water. Awesome. I need to go in and eat 3 meals, no snacks, and that's it. Great. Actionable. A little more definition around it of the size of the meals and the calories, but the point is those are all action. Here's the other trick. You want to create so one miss doesn't create an epic failure. Here's what I mean by that. I have a lot of folks, they're super ambitious, and they're like gung-ho, and they're like, I'm going to exercise every day for an hour. Great. Here's the problem. Day 4, day 5, something happens. They're not used to it. They fall off the bandwagon, and guess what? They don't exercise. So then what happens? Now in their minds, they're like, I blew it. I said for the next 90 days, I'm going to exercise every day, and I didn't. Therefore, why bother? And now you've created a scenario where what's the incentive? By day 4, you've already not accomplished what you said, so why bother trying? So what I like to do is something that actually gives you a fallback. So cardio is my big thing now. I'm great on the exercise, all those factors, but I don't do a lot of cardio. And now that I'm starting to try to go outside more and do some more exercise, it's being obvious, right? I'm not as good on the cardio front. So I said I'm going to go in and do an average of 20 minutes a day, which is basically, if you do 7 times 20, right, that's 140. So my goal is 140 minutes of cardio a week. Now notice the difference. Now, if I forget to do cardio on Monday, I didn't blow it. Now that means instead of 20 minutes on Tuesday and 20 minutes on Wednesday, I have to do 30 and 30, right? So there's a little penalty that I have in there, but the point is it's recoverable. It's recoverable. I can miss a day and still be able to achieve that goal. So I'm spending a little more time on the body front because A, it's so important. It's your automobile. If your car breaks down, you can't get to work. Right? If your car breaks down, you can't do anything, visit friends, visit family, or do anything else. So you take care of that car. It's the craziest thing. You can have the busiest schedule on the planet, but if your check engine light comes on, or your change oil light, or the car starts making some weird noises, you make time to take it to the mechanic. You make time to go in and get it fixed and addressed because you know how critical that car is. But how many of you is your check engine light coming on in your body and you're ignoring it? Right? And some check engine lights with your body is exhausted during the day, brain fog, if you're on prescription meds, right? All those types of things are your body doing check engine light, and the question is you paying attention to it. So like I said, I'm spending a lot of time, but the principles here apply to the other three. And the other thing that's important to remember is, to me, the body is the foundation. If you're not healthy, if you're not in great shape, if you're not optimized, nothing else matters. And here's the coolest part. It is by far the one that you have the most control over, right? You control how you use your time. You control when you wake up in the morning. You control ultimately what you eat. Now, there might be bad habits and beliefs, but the point is, my friends, let's make this quarter different. Let's make this quarter all about getting the habits and that body dialed in. Now, not saying you might get to the ideal weight you want to by the end of the year, but the point is, let's get those habits dialed in. Let's get the exercising, the eating, the hydration, and all those things rocking and rolling. And here's the other reason it's so important. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you can go in and you can get your habits built and optimized, where you're working out every day, you're drinking water, you're eating healthy, now that spills into all those other areas. That spills into all those other domains that you want to be able to work on. So that first one is making sure that body is optimized. And what is the one thing that if you focused on actionable, would change everything for you? Then we move to our second area, which is the mindset. This also is the other biggest area. I will tell you, most of my coaching, it's hysterical because I'm a Ciso coach. I'm a technical coach for security engineers. I'm a coach in the cyber security space. Yet if you talk to most of my clients and you look at where we spend most of our energy and effort, it's in body and mindset. Those are the two areas because they're struggling because they're having health issues. So if I can get them dialed in and get them healthy and feeling good about themselves and optimized and energized, everything changes. Second is the biggest issue for most folks is they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe they are Ciso material. They don't believe they could be a Ciso for a Fortune 10 company. Well, the reality is, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. So you need to get that taken care of. You need to go in and say, what limiting beliefs do I have about myself, my job, my boss, my company that is currently holding me back and restricting me from being the best version of me that I can be? And start looking at them, analyzing them, proving they're wrong, and then replacing them with empowering truths. I'm not spending as much time because if you go back to my previous podcast, I've spent a lot of time on that. I've dedicated multiple episodes to the mindset and the tricks where you go in and write down what is a world-class Ciso. Then you go in and see what skills you have. You do the gap analysis against it. So there's lots of techniques there. But on the mindset piece, what is one thing that if you could address, fix, or change over the next 90 days would be pivotal for you? Is it that you're struggling in believing you're a world-class Ciso? Is it going in and recognizing that you are great at business or you are a good communicator, but just spend some time, listen to your thoughts, listen to the things you say, and you'll start to very quickly see, what are those limiting beliefs that are holding me back, and how can I fix and address those? Then we move to the third foundational area, which is relationships. This is probably the other one that most people don't recognize, they don't want to talk about, but is one of the biggest inhibitors to their success. The reality is, if you are in an unhealthy relationship and it is draining your energy, it is stressful because you're always sitting there going, you're in a meeting or you're doing something important and you're like, oh man, if there's a text message and I don't reply in 5 minutes, they're going to get mad. They're going to get upset. I need to check that, but I'm in the middle of it. It's going to create stress factors for you. If you're sitting there and you're in this great place where you're just executing, and then you look down at your phone and you're basically getting this message that just drains your energy because it's negative or you're fighting or you're not getting along, it is going to be very, very hard to be world class because it's draining your energy, it's distracting you, and it's actually a negative, not a positive. I am by far the last person to be able to start talking about and giving relationship advice, but the point is, that's an area you also need to look at. You need to look across the board at relationships, colleagues, friendship, kids, significant others, and just say, is this really serving and empowering me? Is this really allowing me to be the best version I can be? Or is it draining me? In a healthy relationship, it should energize. You should be excited. When you get done looking at a text or talking with that person, you should have even more energy and more fire and more focus. If it's the opposite, where you're drained, you're exhausted, you're frustrated, or you're dreading, oh no, I wonder what text I'm going to get today. Right, that's going to have an impact on you, my friend. So that's another area that you want to look at. And then finally, the fourth area is, of course, the businesses, which is what we've been focused on. So what I want you to do this week is, once again, fourth quarter. It's game time. This is when you win or lose games. We're not going to throw the towel in on 2023. We're not going to say, oh, it's just about over, let's start again. No. We're going all in. So for the next 90 days, 360 Ciso, 4 targets. What is one actionable thing in the body, one actionable thing in mindset, one actionable thing in relationships, and one actionable thing in business that if you did those one things in each of those areas would basically significantly change the current trajectory and transform the path you're on. So this way you can start 2024 at a whole new level and then just take it exponential from there. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Life of a Ciso, and we'll see you next week.